So good morning, everybody. So this is going to be a little bit difficult because there are two Pauls online, and we'll discuss afterwards who's the better Paul. But I think we're as good looking each other. Okay. So all fun aside, I'm going to introduce you really quick, Mr. Paul Tiffer. He is an attorney based in Managua, and we have used Paul Tiffer several times. And Paul is has been for us the go-to person that does the residency for new immigrants, or a lot of people call themselves expats, but for the new immigrants that come to Nicaragua. Paul, welcome. Uh, Go ahead and introduce yourself, Paul, even though there are two Pauls here.
But no, I'm Buzz Lightyear. I am Buzz Lightyear. I'm Buzz Lightyear.
So, who's the real Buzz?
I am.
Uh, Thank you, Paul, to join. I want you to introduce yourself, and let's go right into the discussion of residency.
Thank you, Paul. Indeed, I am Paul Tiffer, Nicaraguan attorney. I have been working specifically in this area, assisting foreigner people to be legal in Nicaragua for more than 20 years. And if you want, I can explain the different kind of residencies or categories that the Nicaraguan law states.
Yeah, I think we
The
should
most
do that.
common
There's
are
three of them. There's three types of residency. So let's just go with the one that's the most common one. Thank you, Paul. Go ahead.
Okay, there are more than three actually. However, the most commons are residency as a foreign investors, residency as a rentier or retirees. They have a specifically law, and the residency as a workers, even residency as a business people. Okay, the difference between, oh, let me start saying this. People who comes to Nicaragua and invest money in a business have two options: apply as a foreign investors or apply only as a business people with a capital. The difference is the amount of money that these people are going to invest in Nicaragua in a real corporation, in a real business. So you can invest more than $30,000 and receive residency as a foreign investor is for those people who invest in the country in a business through a corporation. Okay, more than $30,000. Okay, when we said more than 30,000 is that you can invest 300 or even more. There is no limit for that. So these corporations have to run a business, have to be legal, have to form a corporation, and have to have employees in Nicaragua, at least 4 or 5. Okay, and we have to follow a path through the economy ministry that we call MIFIC in Nicaragua. Okay, so the MIFIC is the agency from the government who give the endorsement to the corporation, okay, which is formed by at least 2 people. It could be more. This corporation and this endorsement will cover the family of these people too. Okay, so when we prove that the corporation has invested more than $30,000, okay, the MIFIC sent a letter to the director of immigration recommending to approve the residency for these shareholders and their families. Okay, so this is the one. It is called residence. It is called permanent residency and lasts 5 years. Okay, there is something that we have to say is that every 6 months the car have to be renewed, but the residency lasts 5 years.
5 years,
Okay.
right. And there's a big confusion on that, and it's a
Yes.
pity that everybody on Facebook it becomes their own lawyer, and there is a discussion that it's only good for 6 months. And I had to tell everybody, look, here's my card. It says 6 months, but I already paid for 5 years, so it's good for 5 years, and you just have to go through a renewal process.
Actually, if you check the last page of your passport, it says 5 years
Yes, right.
and gives you the card every 6 months. So every
I see
six
it.
months,
Yeah.
you are going to immigration. This is a new rule that immigration is doing because sometimes there are people who comes to Nicaragua, get residency and disappear. So they said, no, residency is for people who is going to live or be very often in the country. Okay, so a foreign investor can be at least twice per year, but they have to come. If you're not going to come to Nicaragua, you don't need residency. You can do business through a corporation without residency. There is no problem at all. That is why I am clarifying this about the 6 months. The 6 months is only the card that you have to change every 6 months.
6 months. Right.
Okay, this is the permanent residency for 5 years as a foreign investor. There are some people who run business and invest less money, less than $30,000. So they are able to apply for residency as a business people, okay, through a corporation. They have to form a corporation too, and that is going to be a provisional residency, and it lasts only 1 year. Okay, so every year they have to renew it. After 3 years of being resident, they can apply for the 5 year. They can do the what is the word? The change of category. Okay, the upgrade. That was the word that I was trying to find. Okay, so I had clients that they invest less than $30,000 in a small business, a real business, but they don't invest more than 30. So after 3 years of being resident, they are able to get the new category for 5 years. So we have two through using corporation doing business. The other, which is very popular and it is very easy to get, it's a smooth process, is to apply as a retiree. Retiree is the person who receives a pension from the government or from a private company, but it's a pension because it's not working anymore. Okay, so the minimum age to apply is 45 years, and this person can cover to the spouse. Okay, and there are some minimum of money. Okay, for example, it's 1,000 for a retiree and $150 for a dependent. Okay, there is another category very similar that we call rentier, or in Spanish the word is rentista. Rentista is a person who has investment in his country or any other country abroad, okay, and that investment produce more than $1,250 per month, which have to be stable and have to be for the next 5 years, because that is the time that the residency will last. So, for example, there are some people that hire an annuity for 5 years.
Right.
So they are receiving every month an amount, okay? And if we prove with the proper document that that amount will be received for 5 years, they can apply as a rentier. It's the same. They can apply, the minimum age is 45 years, okay? And of course, they can cover his or her dependents.
How much
Okay?
is the money, Paul, for rentista minimum requirement in dollar amounts?
1,250, no, 1,250 for rentiers and 1,000 for retirees.
Right. And on rentiers, to allow your spouse to participate, is it still 1,250 or is there an add-on?
$150 more.
Okay, so a couple is $1,400. And if
Exactly.
you have, let's say, a couple with two children, does each child be 150 or it's 1,250?
exactly 150 per dependent.
Thank you. 150 per dependent.
Okay,
Okay.
and you have to be a minor of 18 years old.
And a minor below 18. Okay. Good. Good.
Kids more than 18 years old are considered adults.
Adults. Yeah.
So there is an interesting exemption for those who has uh, disability pension. People who has a disability pension or have a disability pension can apply anytime. They don't have to be more than 45 years. So I have an example. I have a client who used to be part of the army and has a disability, okay? And this person is 30 years old, but is receiving per life a pension for disability. So this person received the pension immediately. And I already did it, okay? We have been doing for several years, and that is the exemption for the age, those who has a pension, okay? Sorry, a disability pension.
Disability. Right.
Those are the most popular kind of residency. There are some others, okay? For example, people who apply as an spouse when a foreign person get married to a Nicaraguan, okay? So there are some requirements which are very important, and it is that this person had to be, those people had to be married for more than 2 years to be able to apply.
Okay. Okay.
Any of both have to prove the source of income. Any of both have to prove the source of income that they have. Okay. So, for example, if the Nicaraguan have a job in Nicaragua, so he can provide the document from the Social Security proving that he's a worker, okay? Or if they are running a business, they have to prove that, okay?
Okay.
And this is going to be also a permanent residency for 5 years.
Okay.
Let me explain about the renewal, which usually is something that people are really concerned. When you get residency, you have to apply to renew 1 month before of the expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and depending of what kind of residency do you have, but let's say a business people or a business person or foreign investors. Okay, you have to prove that you are doing the business. So you have to submit copies of all the corporate documents and documents from the tax department proving that you have been doing the tax report, okay? Every time that it is necessary, you have to submit a copy of the license from the municipality to prove that you are in order, okay? Which are very easy to get. Those are the corporate documents. And you have to submit a police record certificate from Nicaragua and a health certificate from Nicaragua. Why for Nicaragua? Because you are a resident, so you have the possibility to go to the police in Nicaragua and get a police record, which is really easy. Okay, so the first time you have to bring your documents from abroad, or you have to get it here, for example, at Interpol. Okay, but for the renewal, you have to go to the local police station. So it's really easy. It is a matter to prepare, to know what to prepare and be able to apply. If it's for 3 years or 1 year, it's going to be the same. You have to renew your residency. For those who receive residency as retirees or rentiers, well, you have to submit the same: the police record certificate from Nicaragua, the health certificate from Nicaragua, which is really easy to get to, and the source of income. It could be the pension or the rent that you're receiving. So if the pension is from the most common, for example, the Social Security Administration of the United States. You're 65 years old, you're receiving that pension, okay? So you have to provide an updated letter confirming that you still are a retiree and you are still receiving that pension. Okay, very easy. Another very common question is how to legalize the document. So if you allow me, in a minute, I will explain that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Usually, the most, okay, we receive people from everywhere, but usually the most common is from the United States and Canada. Okay, so United States and Europe, for example, sometimes there are people from Europe, from Germany, from the Netherlands, from England, okay, or the United Kingdom. Okay, so they have the same category or the same situation than people from the United States. United States and Europe, they are able to legalize their documents in their country through some seal, which is called apostille or apostille. Okay, it is international legalization according to the Hague Convention for the public documents. Okay, so there are specific places that you can get the apostille and bring it to Nicaragua, and Nicaragua accept it. The situation for those who comes from Canada, that we have been receiving a lot of people from Canada recently, is that they are not part of the Hague Convention. Therefore, they have to authenticate their documents at Global Affairs Canada, okay, which at this moment is taking more than 3 months to legalize. And then they have to authenticate it at the Nicaraguan consulate in Ottawa, or in Washington, any of both. Okay, so with that document, we have to legalize here at the Foreign Affairs Ministry in Managua. So the process for people from Canada is slowly or takes more time in comparison with people from the United States or Europe. There are some people from Asia, for example, that if the country is not part of the Hague Convention, they have to legalize in their country, and then they have to contact a Nicaraguan consulate or embassy in Asia. Usually, I advise people to do it in Japan. So they legalize, they don't have to go. This is very important. Nobody have to go to the country to legalize it. They can send it, the Nicaraguan consulate is going to authenticate it. Send it back. Sometimes they send me to me, and we will continue here the legalization.
Good. Well, I really appreciate it. It was very detailed, and now everybody knows. We also will put a link to Paul Tiffer's site and Facebook page, and we will there you will also see some of the articles that he has posted in various groups, and so you can cross-link it and read in detail the requirements on residency, on how to set up a business, and anything else. Paul, I really appreciate your time today. I know it's right before Christmas, so happy holidays. Have a great year end and lots of success next year. And let's hope we can meet up soon for un cafecito. Okay?
Of course, just one small detail.
Go ahead.
Which is very important. Any single document which is coming from abroad have to be translated into Spanish.
Spanish, yeah.
So that is very important. It could be done in their country, in Canada, in the United States, in Europe, or in Nicaragua. Some documents from the European Union have been issued or are going to be issued in 5 languages. So if the Spanish is included, it's going to be accepted.
Yeah.
But for example, a document which is going to be issued in the United States or in Canada have to be translated. Okay? Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.
Elaine, thank you for contacting me. And of course, if in the future there is any other topic that you want to talk, I am going to be pleased to assist you and all the people who are following.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Bye-bye.
time. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.